Yellowstone. Oh, the buffalo run. Oh, my brother the wolf, my lover the moon.
If you can't tell, I'm broadcasting from a Starbucks just outside Yellowstone National Park. Hello everybody, and welcome to a brand new week. Hold on, let me step inside the Starbucks. Somebody's singing outside. Okay, all right, now that it's more quiet, let's begin. All right, so I see that you see that this says Quest Review. Now, I'm not going to give you a test, but what I'm going to do is this, and I'm going to type it to you as well. I probably already have. You are going to finish this worksheet, and instead of just being worth 3 homework points, it's going to be worth 10 quiz points, let's call them. And instead of just being graded on completion like you are with homework, I'm actually going to look at your answers and grade you on accuracy. So we'll talk about that. So let's talk about the one and only formula that we've spoken about all last week, the addition rule formula. And what tips you off that you know you're going to use the addition rule? The word or. The probability of A or B occurring is just the probability of A plus, and that's the key to the addition rule. Or means add. The probability of A plus the probability of B, and then minus anything you may have counted twice, anything that overlaps, which is the probability of A and B. So let's get to it. I will do everything in the second column on this entire review sheet with you. You then will do the entire first column, take a picture, and then get it back to me. Okay, so number 1, there's a spinner there, and just for brevity, I made a note that there are 16 numbers, 9 of which are even, 7 of which are odd. So if you spin this spinner, what's the probability that it's going to be a 5? 5 is just one number, 1 out of 16. An even number is, well, let's see, how many even numbers are there? 9. 9 out of 16. The probability of being a 1, there's only 1. So that is also 1 out of 16. Let me scroll down and I can scroll back up. The factor of 10, well, let's think about factors of 10. What numbers multiply to give you 10? 1 and 10, also 2 and 5. Are all 4 of those numbers on this spinner? 1, 2, 5, and 10. They all are. So that's 4 numbers out of 16. Recall that you need to reduce wherever possible. So this becomes 1 out of 4. And last but not least, a number that is greater than 3. So let's look. How many numbers actually are just less than 3? Only 1 and 2. Every other number is greater than 3. Well, if there's 16 numbers and 2 of them are less than 3, that means the remaining 14 of them. Oops, I can write 14. Hold on a second. There we go. 14 out of 16. And that reduces to 7 over 8. Congratulations, we're done with number 1. All right, so let me go check and see if my coffee's ready here at the Starbucks. Not quite yet. Let's get to number 2, shall we? Now, in order to do this review, you need to have your reference sheet handy if you think it will be helpful. So at this point, pause the video and get your reference sheet if you think that it's something you're going to need. In the meantime, let's get on with it. Number 2. Okay, number 2 is, if you roll 1 6-sided die, the numbers are just 1 through 6. What's the probability of rolling a 2? Just 1 out of 6. What's the probability that a number is not 6? The other 5 numbers, so 5 out of 6. What's the probability that it is even? 3 out of 6, which is 1/2. Last but not least, what's the probability that it's not a 2? Again, the other 5 numbers, so 5 out of 6. So, we are done with number 2. We are flying through this quest review. All right. So one thing that I'm going to do from number 3 on down, and I probably should have done it all along, is I'm just going to scroll down this entire review and look for the words and I'm going to circle any problem in the right column where I see the word and. The reason I'm going to do this is because this lets me know that there is not a formula for those problems. Okay, so if I see the word or, I'm going to use the addition rule formula. If I don't see the word or, I'm not going to use that formula. All right, so without any further ado, let's get to number 3. All right, so it says choose one letter at random from mathematics, and you are going to find each of the following probabilities. All right, so what's the probability that a number is either an A or a vowel? So in mathematics, so first off, I see the word or. That lets me know I'm going to use the additional formula. So the probability of being an A. All right, I'm going to write that right here. The probability of being an A plus the probability of being a vowel minus the probability of being both an A and a vowel. So how many A's are in this word? How about 2? 2 out of 11 to be specific. How many vowels are in this word? Well, I wrote that already, 4 out of 11. This is one of those cases where the addition rule formula is unfortunately redundant. However, use the addition rule formula anytime you see the word or. All right, so how many letters are both A and vowels? All 2 of them, 2 out of 11. So even though I added the 2, I'm going to subtract it right away, and I end up with 4 out of 11. All right, so now we get to letter D, a T or a vowel. Okay, how many T's are there? There are 2 T's. Then, how many vowels are there? 4 vowels, so 2 out of 11 plus 4 out of 11. And there are no letters that are both T's and vowels, so I just add 6 out of 11 and I'm done. M and a vowel. Can a letter be both an M and a vowel at the same time? Unfortunately, they cannot, so the probability there is just 0. Okay, and then now we move right along to number 4. Oh, all right, so let's see now. We get to number 4. All right, pause the video if you don't have your reference sheet handy and get out the card distribution. How many cards are kings or jacks? There are 4 kings in the deck out of 52, plus there are 4 jacks in the deck out of 52. Cards cannot be both kings and jacks at the same time, so that's 8 out of 52, which is 2 out of 13. An ace or a 5, 4 aces in the deck out of 52, plus 4 5s out of 52. Can't be an ace and a 5 at the same time, so once again, that's 8 out of 52, which is 2 over 13. An 8 or a 7. This seems to be getting a little redundant. Once again, there are 4 8s plus 4 7s, and there's nothing to subtract, so that's once again 8 out of 52, or 2 out of 13. A queen and a number card. Here's the thing. The queen is a face card. Number cards are, well, number cards. Can't be both, so that probability there is 0. Not fooling me. Then last but not least in this section, a face card. Well, let's see here. I'm sorry. 2 more. I'm sorry. Not last but not least. The 8 of clubs or a face card. So there's 1 card that is the 8 of clubs, 1 out of 52. Plus, a face card is 12 out of 52. And there is no overlap because the 8 of clubs is not a face card. So that's 1 plus 12, or 13 out of 52, which is 1/4. Then a face card. Well, that's just the 12 out of 52 that you see, and that's 3 over 13. All right, 2-sided die. I happen to put it right there. There's a 2-sided die. A number that is less than 8. Okay, so how many numbers there are less than 8? All of these numbers right here that you see before you. Right there. How many numbers did I just circle? 21 numbers. That's 21 out of 36. And so that's 7 over 12. Less than 6 or greater than 11. How many numbers are less than 6? 2 through 5. How many numbers is that? 10 out of 36. Greater than 11. That's only 12. So that's only 1 out of 36. Can't be both at the same time, so that's 11 over 36. All right, equal to 5. There are 4 numbers that are equal to 5 in that sum, 4 out of 36. Plus, greater than 3. Look at all the numbers greater than 3. That's 33 out of the 36 numbers in that. minus anything I might have counted twice. Well, isn't 5 greater than 36? It is. So I'm going to subtract away the 4. Addition rule is redundant here. And if I do that, I get 11 over 12. All right, actually, before I reduce it, it's 33 over 36, which becomes 11 over 12. Pause at any point if you need. 6 and 7, here we go. Between 1 and 100, get your reference sheet out. Between 1 and 100, okay? How many numbers are 5? Between 1 and 100 inclusive, 1. One number out of 100, okay? Even, that's 50 numbers out of 100, which is 1/2. And last but not least, odd or greater than 60. How many numbers are odd between 1 and 100? 50 out of 100. Or means plus greater than 60. That's 61 through 100, which is 40 numbers out of 100. Minus, how many odd numbers are greater than 60? Half of them, so minus 20 over 100. Okay, so 50 plus 40 is 90. Minus 20 is 70 out of 100. Or 7 out of 10. All right, 2 more. Blue pen. How many pens? There's 20 of them. How many of them are blue? 10 out of 20, which is 1/2. And then, last but not least, how many are not orange? And none of them are orange. So all 20 out of 20 are not orange, which is just 1. Okay, that's a 2 right there, sorry. Okay, so there's our review. Look at this as many times as you need. Email me with the questions, and your job is to do the entire first column worth 10 points. Bye, everybody.